Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here as the recording of this Tuesday, June the 4th, 2024. Nerd locations also on site in the house, or should I say, in the parking structure. We are at the Hilton Universal Hotel. I am wearing an appropriate t-shirt because we are about to walk in to the stairwell from Back to the Future 2. Do you like the film Back to the Future in the franchise?
Absolutely. I'm a Back to the Future nerd. Last night I spent the night at the mall in Puente Hills.
You slept there?
Maybe.
So a year ago, we were in town at the same time. We checked out the staircase and we did the VIP tour over at Universal. And sad trombone, we did not get to see Hill Valley. I would say out of every time I've done the tram tour or the VIP tour, 9 times out of 10 you don't go back there. But I think today is our day.
Today I feel it.
Today
I feel it. It's magic.
Is happening.
Hill Valley.
And we're going to put the good vibes into the universe by going into the stairwell and then going over to the VIP tour. I'm inviting you to join me and Nerd Locations.
Shall you?
Now this is up on level P3. If you start up here, you can get the same angle as where alternate 85 Biff walks in to the door here. I think this is the right one. I'm parked on P2, but we walked up to P3. I am wrong. Whoa, I'm wrong. This isn't it. P3, we got to go up one?
I think so.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is the angle. There it is, there it is. This is starting to look a little familiar. He walks out of there. Biff's gang is chasing Marty up and down. Michael J. Fox runs down here, jumps back over here, and then runs back up.
And that's where he goes out the door.
He goes out the door right up there.
To the top of Biff's palace.
Yep,
right? Yeah.
That's it. The thing that's cool about this is all the way at the top, this is where he hopped over. You can still faintly see the arrow up here, where it had the arrow leading to the roof access, but it really isn't the roof. It's just out a door, not to this roof. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's only about 9:45 right now. Our tour is at 11:45. However, as you're going in, once you check in, there is a little room upstairs that has coffee and juices and little breakfast snacks and things like that you can go up in and sit and wait for your tour time. And kind of what I'm hoping is that we can see Hill Valley and possibly Colonial Street. The Western set I've seen many times, and it seems like when a lot of things are filming in other areas, they just take you to the Western sets, which is cool, but I'd really like to spend some time in Hill Valley. So again, we're just putting that into the universe. All right, change of plans. We're actually not doing the 11:45. We're gonna do the 10 a.m. tour. Also, there's some ET stuff here. First, coffee. Not just regular coffee. Very important coffee? I'm trying to think of something that would be with P with coffee, but...
Very important piping hot.
Oh!
Very important piping hot.
You know what? I drew a blank. It's too early. I gotta get some. So that's gonna work out good. We're gonna grab our coffee. We're gonna do the 10 a.m. tour because we requested to do the Backlot first instead of the rides. They said, we'll put you on the 10. They also have some items here. I think I'm gonna hold off for the lunch a little bit later, but they do have some little snacks and things up here. They also have ice water. This is gonna be my breakfast. I don't usually eat breakfast too often. I usually wait till a little later in the day and grab a meal or for late afternoon, early dinner time, but they do have egg sandwiches and things. We just talked to our guide and he said it's a slim chance that we're going to be going back to Hill Valley. So a year ago I did it and I was really disappointed and bummed out we didn't go, so I kind of knew that was going to happen, so I'm not as bummed this time, but if it works out, it works out. Again, you're kind of taking a chance with what they're able to show you because of the production schedule. This is like deja vu, man, from last year. But you know what? At least we kind of know what's to be expected. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Either way, we're gonna have a good day. Just getting a little peek down into the back lot, which, you know, he did say, the guide, very accommodating, said that we probably won't be going back there, but he said there is a slight chance. He's just gonna be radioed throughout the course of the morning. So kind of hoping it'll happen to go down there. Let's hear Also, I should mention that the 60th of the trams started about a month ago, so they're celebrating the 60th of the Glamour trams. Now these are the Glamour trams, these are the regular trams. Now I was out here a month ago for the opening week of the Glamour trams, and even with that, for some reason they didn't take us back to meet Doc and the DeLorean and all that. This will be what we're riding on, right here, the VIP mobile.
I'll share something with you. When Patrick gets here with his team, I'm going to let Patrick kind of open up as we want to start this whole crazy dream of a city dedicated to making movies all started with our founder, Carl Lemley.
I've done this tour probably 5 or 6 times. I've done the regular tram tour probably 100 times. And out of all those times, I have never been inside this building. It's kind of cool, Lopez and Lopez. Also kind of neat. These are the bungalows. People live there, worked in there. So Hitchcock's was over on the other side over there. Again, I've never gotten off at this spot. They're turning this around, and we're gonna head it. Here's our guide, Al.
Good morning.
Hello, Al.
Good to see you. Some of these here were originally in another part of the studio.
Oh, these were.
Yeah. And we moved them over here because so many famous people use these over the decades. Tony Curtis, Doris Day, Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn, they all had these little bungalows. So these are part of the bungalows that they were around where Hitchcock's bungalow was. But back in the days when early 90s, when we were building the studio center area for all the rides like Revenge of the Moment, the Ride, Transformers. So we moved those over this part of the lot.
Yeah.
Because there's so much history inside.
I never knew that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, this used to be a parking lot, and part of the lighting department would be.
So Hitchcock's has always been there, and then these were moved around.
No, Hitchcock's was brought over as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I learned something new.
Yeah.
Thanks,
It
Al.
was moved in the early 90s. Let's go on inside.
Let's do it, yeah.
All right.
We're learning facts. This is cool.
Yeah, this is behind the scenes of Lopez versus Lopez. And the front of the set is over here, and I'll let Patrick take it from here.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, thank you.
George Lopez owns a moving company and has invested so much money into the business, he accidentally loses his websites like one iota. And it's not just for shows like Lopez versus Lopez. It's also for shows like Family Feud, The Voice, and many, many others. In fact, are you fans of The Voice? You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to raise your hand. But you know those segments where they're outside, the contestants' childhood home. They're like, "Hi, everybody. I'm here in Houston, Texas. This is where I grew up." Guess what, everybody? No. It's not Houston, Texas at all. It's right here on the studio lot. Yes, we actually have houses that we pose and just paint a different color. It's like, oh, it's Houston, Texas. Cool. And if we ever need to go inside
Spoiler alert.
someone's house, it's right here, guys. Cool. Set up just like this. The reason is because we can control every aspect. Never ever see the ceiling, because this is where we keep everything. Yeah, these wild walls we can just lift up out of the way and get the best angles possible. All right, right this way, guys.
Let's go.
Oh, look at that. No soliciting there.
I said that Mr. Lopez has no moving company. Here's the moving truck. Right here. Yeah, again, we just fly that wall up and out of the way to get the best angles possible. Yeah, and we can also just wheel it in front of the audience. And one of the reasons we also have an audience is not only do we get a better performance out of the actors, we can also test our jokes out on you guys. Let's say you're watching Lopez versus Lopez. They're doing a skit inside the moving truck. Offense for nosy neighbors.
It's a Mario Pinata.
Now, guys, the reason for the sound improvement is this black material all over the walls right here. It is called Insequil.
All right, we're getting the all clear. Till next time. Thank you. Thank you.
That big stone is rolling after them. Besides, they're just the false fronts and sides of buildings. If you look at your screen right now, I'll show you what I mean. They look like they're made out of bricks and stone and poured concrete. But if you were to walk through the door of one of these sets, the back side of it would look like what you see on the screen right now. Just sheets of plywood held up by 2x4s and telephone poles, or in this case to your left, corrugated sheet metal held up by steel beams. So we mostly use these exterior sets for the exterior scenes. And when the actor walks through the doorway, that's when the director yells, cut. And then we're going to build what we think the inside of these buildings should look like inside of the soundstage, where we have control over the sound,
skateboard chase.
and the lighting. If you look off to your right, you're looking at a portion of New York Street. These are our metropolitan city street sets.
So close.
About 4.5 acres of settings that look like major city streets. Could be New York, could be Chicago, could be Los Angeles. This area off to your right-hand side where the pergola is, and you see this little park. This is an area being used right now for a new NBC television series called A Classic Spy, starring Ted Danson. It's produced by a guy named Michael Schur. He's the same guy that brought you Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Community, shows like that, and The Good Place. So they're going to be using this area for that. Thank you, sir, for that. Because if you take a look off to your right, Eric is giving us a chance to take a look at Brownstone Street. If you look off to your right, you see those not the squirrel. Everybody sees the squirrel. I get it.
Squirrel.
And I saw all your eyes shift. I was like, it's a squirrel. We got it. But in the background where you see those brownstone apartments, we call it Brownstone Street. Here in Los Angeles, we don't typically have neighborhoods that look like that you would find in Chicago or Boston or Philadelphia or New York. So if you take a look at your screen right now, I think you'll recognize the guy that's on the screen. But take a look at your screen. I'll let you finish that scene out. And I'll have you know that those brownstone apartments you were just looking at were also used by 20th Century Fox. Do you guys know the movie with Macaulay Culkin called Home Alone 2?
You mentioned Home Alone 2.
New York. When he goes to his uncle's house, and he goes up on the roof and throws bricks off the top and hits the bad guys in the face, that wasn't in New York. That was on this same street where Jim Carrey lived in Bruce Almighty. If you look off to your right, you're looking at areas used by Britney Spears in videos. It's used by Taylor Swift in her video for the song Wildest Dreams. Lady Gaga filmed that here. The largest set on the back lot of the studio. Get a picture of this. Now, it's not fully decorated right now, but it's a little decorated. This is where scenes for Bram Stoker's Dracula, Batman and Robin, Spider-Man 2, all film sequences in this little corner pocket. Yeah. Now, as we drive forward, when we wanted to bring our biggest movie star back to the silver screen,
check it out. They have the smoke going off the old train. The old train right there. This used to be in a different spot. And there's a video clip of Hitchcock in front of this jumping over it.
Brought to you by this director right here. You guys are very familiar with all the different techniques used for movies and TV shows. You know we use a lot of CGI, the computer generated imagery, things like that. But I don't know if you're really aware that we still use a lot of the old school techniques that still work just as good as the new stuff now. And I might be hitting the wrong result. We'll turn this go on. We're going to call action on the background. Background action. Are you guys ready for your scene? Okay. Cameras rolling and action. On this area, we're going to be going by an area that looks like a lake, a little pond. On our way there, if you look off to your left, first thing we'll see is the soundstage where they work on the TV show The Voice, the competition singing show films here in these set of soundstages. And then there's a body of water. This body of water is called the Hollywood Ocean that goes all the way back to our earliest day. And later on today, we're going to be able to walk around some of the sets off to your right where the classic Universal monsters made their screen debuts going all the way back to the
Court of Miracles.
20s, even up to 1931 where they did movies like Dracula.
Never seen the Court of Miracles.
So we'll walk through this area, but before we do, we'd like to share with you something that I kind of referenced earlier when we were driving around those metropolitan sets, and I talked about things like parking meters and mailboxes, street lights, or props that decorate the sets. A lot of that stuff is missing on what you're seeing today, and that is because we bring those things in depending on the
Dude, there's a coyote right there. It's a freaking coyote.
We're setting it back in old times, modern. And the woman who runs this, her name is Beverly. She's asked us just one small favor as we go in. Please, no photographs or video while we were in the building. And please don't touch anything, of course. It's because this is one of the biggest and busiest prop warehouses in the business. And you'll notice, and Patrick will explain as you go through, why we can't take pictures of the building. You just know that this is the only part of the tour that you cannot. However, take your cameras with you or your cell phones with you, because we're going to walk from this building over the European set. Now,
all right, no filming in the costume department. The only part you're not allowed to film on at the Universal VIP tour. The Edith Head building.
And that way we don't have to clog all the aisles with us. Team Mustache, just stay behind for a second.
Team Mustache.
TV show. You want to call dibs on something, so when they come in to get things for their show, they're not taking the stuff that you were hoping to get, right? So the honor system. But those whole tags have a lot of information: name of the production, phone numbers, emails, directions of where the items are to go. And people are innocently going into the prop warehouse saying, hey, I'm at the Universal Tour, I'm taking pictures of stuff, and it posts it on their social media, and then somebody else would see it and post it on theirs, and suddenly it's going on Reddit, and it's all over the world, and now everybody knows Spielberg's working on the production and where. So they were getting hounded at the production office, and some people were showing up on the sets looking for paparazzi shots. So they just closed off the warehouse to everybody for years. But Beverly's been pretty cool, and we've been pretty persistent. She says, okay, you can go in, but no pictures, no video, and don't touch anything like great stuff. So if you can be cool with that, this is the only part of the tour. I'll ask you to turn off your video and your cameras. Just take a peek, then we'll come back out and get some more. You can take a quick picture outside while we're going in. So leave your glasses behind, but bring your cameras. Just keep a whole parking lot area. It was just our transportation department. And you're looking at some of the, and you can now take pictures of anything you want. Roll video all you want. But these are some of the newest sound stages. There's 8 brand new sound stages up there. Give you an idea how hungry Hollywood is for production facilities. While we were laying the foundation, all 8 sound stages were booked up to 5 years out. Yeah, the business is busier now than it's ever been. Back in the 90s, you could shoot a cannon across the property and not hit anybody. And now, 36 sound stages, and every one of them is booked with a movie, TV show, commercial. And in 2028, when you see the Olympics in Los Angeles, all the TV crews from all over the world will be setting up camp inside of those sound stages. So once they do the event somewhere in Los Angeles, they'll go to be interviewed by the respective news crews from around the world. They'll be doing it from these sound stages here, because all of West Coast operations for NBC television is based here, and Telemundo, based here at the studio. So those satellite dishes you saw, those are the satellite dishes that push the signal up to the satellite. Celebrities, right through this archway.
The restroom, first restroom break.
Velvet wall, black marble floor. It's just gorgeous. Yeah. If you believe that, yeah, you're about to find out.
The restroom of the stars.
You're really fancy on the red carpet.
Another group over in here as well. Let me back up the other group. So if I remember correctly, there was something right here that was used in The Wizard with Fred Savage. Obviously they filmed the King Kong animatronic, that all burned down. If you've ever seen the Nintendo movie with Fred Savage, it was kind of like right in here. And I actually learned something from Sean Clark from Horror's Hallowed Grounds. He was telling me, we did this tour a couple years ago, and right here on this corner, Vic Morrow could be seen in the Twilight Zone movie, right on this corner. This one little quick shot was right here. Of course, the tragedy of Vic Morrow on the movie that was filmed before he passed on, right here on this corner facing the other way.
If you take a good look at this area, just pan through, you will see this in The Invisible Man with Claude Rains' Glorious Story.
Really?
Yeah. That's one that shows it off a lot. You have to remember, like a lot of our sets, they were more extensive over a period of time. We had 4.5 acres of European sets. We're going to be in the sun for a little bit, so if you don't want to be in the sun, we'll duck into that alley and get in that shade right there. But if you want to know something about movies, you might want to come over this way, because I don't yell. We're going to go for a walk. I'm looking at I'm going for the average age range on this. I'm gonna take a risk here. How many have ever heard of a movie called City Slickers? The ring a bell? Billy Crystal, Bruno Kirby, Daniel Stern. If you haven't heard of the movie, you can stream it. It's actually a very funny movie. But the opening scenes of the movie open in Pamplona, Spain during the running of the bull. I'm gonna give you the biggest secret in movie business, right? Movie technique right now. You can keep it to yourself or share it if you want. But we've been making movies here for 110 years, right? 110, 109 years, depending on how you slice it. We've made over 8,000 movies. We've made hundreds of thousands of hours of television shows, commercials, music videos. You've seen this a lot. How come you don't recognize it every time we show it to you? It should stand out, right? We've been doing a lot. Here's why. The biggest trick in Hollywood is called the establishing shot. We show you a film clip or a photograph of some place we want you to believe we're visiting. And then we cut the scenes filmed here, and you make that mental connection. Does that make sense? So, for the running of the bulls scene, they had some stock footage of the actual running of the bulls, and then they cut the scenes of Bruno Kirby, Daniel Stern, and Billy Crystal running right down the street, right across here to the right. The opening shot of the movie. We had a lot of actors wearing white clothes with red bandanas, all cheering, and you made that mental connection because he did a very good apothecary. He says, apothecary, apothecary, I'm looking for a pack of Trojans. He says, I'm sorry, I just sold my last one. And that was all filmed right there in that corner. Really bad joke. Now you'll notice it says yogurt, yogurt, yogurt there. And some of you already know that this is where we filmed the TV show The Good Place. All 4 seasons of The Good Place, which are now on Netflix, all 4 seasons were filmed. The only reason what happened down here. That Dan will stand on the stage and tell you all about it. One of the episodes, you know the show? One episode, there's a big hole that opens up in the ground and everything gets sucked into it. It was digitally placed right here where this gentleman's standing right now. Do you guys know, well, Julie Andrews, kind of an important American, English, but American movie star. She did a movie called Princess Diaries. You guys know those?
Oh, yeah.
So they did a movie called Princess Diaries 2. Yeah. There's a parade scene in that movie where Julie Andrews comes right down on, had that big heart-to-heart, the mother movie. It was supposed to be Paris Hilton. So how do we get you to believe that? It shows you in the establishing shot. Well, most people know. So just a quick idea. Oh, by the way, do you guys know who Pedro Pascal is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're standing where he stood in his last commercial. There's a Corona beer, we'll talk about that in a minute, but there's a Corona beer commercial. Pedro Pascal is the new spokesman for Corona beer. La vida más fina is the tagline. Well, the very first commercial is about a minute long, and Pedro's in Mexico drinking a Corona in a little bar. So, when you see Johnny Depp, actually come up in the shade here, I'll show you. I'll hold this up.
We use several different shots. In that alleyway, in a few areas, as Al said, no longer here. But yeah, you can kind of see this. Oh, great.
We were standing a moment ago, and he dips into this building.
Johnny
The
Depp
blacksmith
right there.
shop. But look at the blacksmith shop. Look how big it is. There ain't no room in there for a blacksmith shop. So you just saw Hawaii, the Backlot at Universal, and a Soundstage at Disney, all in one 30-second sequence. That's how important editing is. That little wow, we still get that when we work on the movie. Okay, so you're standing with Johnny Depp. If you want a picture of him, you can stand on the steps, but I wouldn't recommend go up any further because some of these they look like they're made of stone and concrete. They're actually made out of plaster and plywood. So yeah, but feel free to get a shot here. And then the picture right there where Patrick's standing. And you'll notice how skinny the road is where he is. It's pretty skinny, and it gets wider as it goes down. Forced perspective. Another optical illusion. You've got 2 eyes. You have depth perception. You can tell how far away things are. Camera's got 1 eye. No depth perception. Wolfman. The Invisible Man. All filmed on the streets that you're walking right now. Everywhere around here. You watch those movies, and even if you've never seen the movies, you've all seen scenes where the villagers are gathering in the courtyards, getting the pitchforks and the torches. It's the area that we're walking through next.
Court of Miracles.
Let's cross the street.
I just want a nice piping hot caffeinated beverage right here.
So this is part of the area that got a facelift for the 60th anniversary of the tour. But this is the yogurt shop that you'll see in almost every episode of The Good Place on Netflix. Originally aired for 4 seasons on NBC, and then we moved it over to Netflix. But yeah, you're walking through these same, speaking of monsters, even Lady Gaga, her video for the song Judas.
Yeah.
There's a huge scene in the video where her and her team are dancing around in a courtyard.
This is it.
Well, the camera was way back that way, looking this way, and you'll see the archway and the yogurt shop in the background if you watch the video. Yeah. So we'll just take a quick look. So these are part of the areas that were haunted by Dracula, Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and later the Mummy in the 1940s. And we're going under an archway, just like the creep. You guys know who Quasimodo is, right?
Oh yeah.
The original Hunchback of Notre Dame, played by Lon Chaney Sr. And he also did the Phantom of the Opera, which he's part of the sets out here. Let's go underneath the archway, just like Frankenstein. This is called the Court of Miracles. Got its name because in the movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame, there was an area in Paris where all the scoundrels and the con artists would go at the end of the day. So they're in the city acting like they're blind and like they can't walk, and they were begging for money. But when they all came back to this familiar part of town, suddenly they could see and they could walk normal. It was like a miracle. This is the safe area in Paris where all the scoundrels can hang out. So that's why this is called the Court of Miracles. Yeah, Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Invisible Man. All right here. So get some shots. There are scenes where the villagers are gathering around in here. Not a monster movie, but I'll just give a tip of the hat to another movie that's really a good movie to watch. If you've never seen it, you can even see it for free on YouTube right now. It's called All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a war film that we made in 1931, and it brought Universal its very first Best Picture Academy Award. But it is a great movie, great story, and all of this area was used as France and Germany. Oh yeah.
Bavarian Frankenstein, like through a bunch of these archways, you see Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster walking through all these different archways, and he's just chasing all those villagers. In fact, that's one of my favorite stories. I'll tell you more once we get back on the trolley. Anyone need help with last-minute pictures? Anyone?
You can also see where either the well was or there was like a circular spot down here.
Notre Dame Cathedral.
Where earthquake is?
Don't realize this. We only built the first floor of the cathedral. The top floor of the towers was a forced perspective miniature.
The main cast, they actually have frozen yogurt. So we can save time and money because obviously it's a nice bright sunny day and frozen yogurt, you melts in the sun. All the frozen yogurts you see with the background actors, it's dyed mashed potatoes. That's some world-class acting right there, taking up spoons of... Let me go back to my monster movies. So, after the success of Dracula, we didn't realize how big it was going to be. In fact, we marketed Dracula as a dark romantic thriller because we didn't have like a horror genre, and we released it Valentine's Day 1931. And after the success of Dracula, we had to film Frankenstein. In fact, we found Boris Karloff right out here in our Western sets. He was the tallest man in the West. And without Boris Karloff, we wouldn't have our other horror movies like The Terror of Amity Island.
Fire. Oh wow. That's warm.
Wait a minute! Where's the shark?
Right here. He's right there. Wait, we're backing up. Oh, Bruce! Oh my! It's following me. Oh, stay back from me, Bruce. Goodness gracious.
Hi!
We did it.
That was Jaws. It's been with the tour since 1976. Everyone say hi to Bruce!
This is a close encounter.
The only shark in America that can do the math.
No pun intended, because Spielberg, but Jaws.
What kind of shark was that?
Great white.
Great white, great guess. It's plastic.
Yeah, it's our door right here, and we're not just outside, we just 50 pets. And as we roll out of old Mexico, we're hitting up the old West. Welcome everybody to 6 Points, the home of the classic Hollywood Western. Ever since 1940, we opened up the studios to the public because they really wanted to see all our classic Westerns being filmed. For only 25 cents, you can be given a box lunch and a hard-boiled egg right from our chicken ranch, and you be sound featured just outside camera view, where you can cheer on the good guys and boo the bad guys. That's because from 1914 up until about 1927, we weren't recording sound. All the shooting, all the explosions on 6 separate streets, where we had 6 separate towns to make 6 separate westerns at the exact same time. We filmed over 200 westerns in our first year, first again, terrorizing a glamour tramp. But if you look at that boathouse right here, this was Andy Island. This is also Cabin Cove, Maine from Murder, She Wrote. So I'm gonna have to pop up my. Looks like there is some action filming going on down here. I guess it's Bel Air. So yeah, don't worry. People will call last week. We were right next shot here. The series that we shot here. We are going. Don't worry. Over to the house now. With the house now. Horses with the wrong dog. Hey, look, you got horse thing. That's all the chicken ranch. That's the one we're out right now. Oh yeah, look at that. All kinds of production going on right there. Right down with Syria Lane. Maybe see Hines. Now, these actually aren't the original Lion Estate signs. They were actually restored and donated to us by the Back to the Future fan club for the film's 30th anniversary. But we're about to drive into one of the biggest practical sets ever devised for any movie. We're actually in the plane crash set for Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, for some tour that is not pressing painted plywood, PVC pipe, or a plastic shark. That is a real 747. Yes, Steven Spielberg and his team over at Paramount found it, decommissioned it in an airplane graveyard in the Mojave Desert, and bought it at a steal for only $60,000. But at the time, back in 2004, 2005, when they were shooting the movie, the entire project was under NDA, non-disclosure agreement. They wanted as much kept secret as they could possibly do. So, to get it here, to get this plane here in secret, they actually had to chop it up into those big chunks you see right there, stick those chunks on the massive flatbed trucks, and then remove the roofs so they could fit under all the California overpasses. And they had to do this all in the dead of night. That whole process cost almost $250,000, and it just goes to show you, even if you are Steven Spielberg, they will always get you on the shipping every single time. Now, Steven is quoted as being inspired by Alfred Hitchcock. One of the reasons that this set is right here is because it's next to one of the most iconic houses in all of filmmaking. This is the original Psycho house from Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 classic Psycho. And as you round the corner, if you look in the very, very top left window, you should see Mother rocking back and forth. Here we're still need of a lot of moisturizing.
Not seeing Mother.
But if you look down to your left, you're getting a little preview of the whole top closet. Including the massive Jaws, King Kong's big monkey fist, and Dominic Toretto's iconic Black Dodge Charger right next to the Nissan Skyline. Now I know a couple of you are also from out of town and are like, where's the Hollywood sign? Well, it's actually in front of Mount Lee on the other side near Hollywood. However, some good news. Alright guys, we're about to drive down. Like I said, we'll give you guys about 15 minutes to take a picture with all our stuff. We even have our giant shark that you can take a picture with from Jaws. Yeah. Some of you studio tour veterans will remember that. Now, 2 things I want to point out right here. That glamour tram right there, the candy cane red and white ones. Those were designed by a guy by the name of Harper Goff. Those of you who don't know, Harper Goff was the original set designer and art director for the 1970s version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder. Yeah, this is one of his first projects. And that giant shopping cart? Yeah, Al, we don't have any little kids on the tour, right? If I can say this. You're all above 18, right?
Yeah.
Alright, that shopping cart was from the Incredible Shrinking Woman, but many of you will recognize it from Jackass the Movie 1. Alright, come on down and you'll see the set of Jordan Peele's movie Nope. This is where the climactic end of the movie is filmed.
and this is George Field, what you see on the screen. And the big balloon up ahead on the right is also featured. As we leave Jupiter's Claim, we're going to be heading into an area where Universal had one of its classic attractions back in the old days. Now, we called it the Doomed Glacier Expedition, but if you were on the tour, you just called it the Ice Tunnel. Featured for 60 years. I'll tell you, it's a weird day when you look in the mirror and you go, wow, I'm older than the studio tour. Wow, how did that happen? I remember being there when I was 7 years old with my family. So thank you very much for letting us take you through that. Patrick, thanks for letting me share a little bit about your crew. Would you all join me in giving Eric a huge round of applause for keeping us safe throughout that entire tour. We just struck the LA River. We didn't pop a tire. Okay, this guy's good. And that'll bring us to the end of the tour. So we're going to split back up into our separate groups. If you have 3D glasses, please place them on the chair where Patrick was sitting.
All right, now getting off of the VIP experience trolley, cart, whatever you want to refer to it as. I think we're going to ride a ride or two, and then we're going to go get lunch. Yeah, so far so good, right? Now, we obviously didn't go to Hill Valley, which we were looking forward to, but I say they have kind of gone above and beyond with everything else. It's been a pretty good tour so far, as far as the backlot section, and I know the food's going to be good.
I'm ready for the food.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
The reason I can bring you in here is because I'm a monk. I am not enchanted, right? Are you a wizard? Which?
You're a wizard, Harry.
Yeah, what? Everybody who says that they're in Hufflepuff, I know is really a Slytherin in disguise. But for the first time in history, muggles are allowed to bring guests in, so that's why we're here today. Now, there's two rides here. One is called Flight of the Hippogriff, and the other one is called the Forbidden Journey. Now, Flight of the Hippogriff, we'll do that first. It's on the other side of the forest there. It's a hippogriff is, the head of it is an eagle, and the tail of it is a horse. And they're very big, very dangerous. And Hagrid wants to teach you how to ride.
All right, we just rode Flight of the Hippogriff. I don't want you filming on it, so I didn't film on it. Always a cute little ride.
Jerry, whatever his name is. Harry Potter, that guy.
Harry Potter.
All those Potter kids. Nuts. They will steal you out of class, and you're going to ride enchanted benches all around the castle. You're going to fly right through a Quidditch match, and you're going to go by the Forbidden Forest. It's forbidden. Don't go in there. She's totally going in there. You're going to have to help her out. Keep her safe, all right? So I will be honest with you. This is, on our scale of 1 to 10, this is 10, 10 and a half. It's a lot, because it's going to shake you up and down, side to side, and sideways like this, while you're looking at 3D screens, and live things are coming at you. If you're prone to motion...
Yeah, I love you get to walk through the Hall of Portraits through here and up the stairs till the talking portraits. And even more up here. And you walk by Dumbledore's office over here too. All right, we are now heading over to the Moulin Rouge, which is, evidently it was under construction for a while and they weren't having the tours, the lunches and things in there. They had them at a different location. I never did a tour when it was at the other spot, but it's back at the Moulin Rouge, so we're going to head over there and get ourselves a little very important something meal. Not piping hot. Well, there's probably some hot items on the buffet, but I don't know what you call it. Very important. What's something that food related that starts with a P? Very important pampering of the belly. Very important. I got some little grilled potatoes right here, sliced meat, some asparagus, a little mac and cheese, and some rice. Dracula.
What? You go around here looking like the Wolfman and you call to me?
I look like the Wolfman?
Yeah, look how hairy you are. Have you ever looked at yourself? Yes.
I guess I kind of do like...
This is Wolf, if you've ever seen it. Look at the hairy. It's not full moon yet. He's just starting to change.
What does he look like? Who's he look like?
No, well, wolves always travel in a pack.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yes, I noticed. Yes. This is interesting here. Is it red?
He just put suntan lotion on.
He did?
He did, yes.
Well, that's why you're not a vampire. You'll be putting more and more and more on. How do you know this guy?
We're wolves. We travel together.
Oh, that's it?
We're wolves.
Family? I mean, you're Cindy Wolf family and the Wolf Pack family. Is he good to you or you want me to kill him?
Wow. Not very nice.
Eat up. Enjoy your last meal.
Thank you. Alright, we've decided to stay with our group for a little while longer.
Perfect.
Thank you. Kung Fu Panda.
Where that car is driving right now, off to your right.
Yeah.
Those bungalows have been here, yeah, right there and to the right. Those have all been there since the 40s. Definitely in
Construction
2026. So it'll start right
Fast
up there.
and Furious
It'll go
coaster.
up in the air, and it's going to shoot 200 feet down the hill. And there's a little neighborhood on the top edge of the golf course. From the right all the way to the left where you cannot shoot. That little neighborhood is called Toluca Lake. It was Beverly Hills before there was a Beverly Hills. So if you recognize names like Mae West, W.C. Fields, Charlie Chaplin, Boris Karloff, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Betty Davis, they've all had homes out here.
We're heading down to the lower lots. So our guide is very informative, Al, and he was saying the bungalows, he was talking about the Soundstages over there, but the bungalows that are over kind of near where we got out and went into one soundstage the earlier the tour, where near Hitchcock's and all that is, used to be down here.
Like at a college, university. So if you were a celebrity, you wanted to see another celebrity, or you work with somebody, you'd probably bump into them here. Because if you had to go from your offices to the backlot, Soundstages, to the mill or the lighting department, it was all cutting through this area, Crossroads of the Stars. The tram tour in the early days used to stop here for a brief visit. We take you into a building to show you special effects. But also while you stop down here, we take you into comedy legend Lucille Ball's dressing room and Academy Award-winning costume designer Edith's Head office. So you can walk in and see that. Lucille Ball's office used to be right there where the sign says Dino Play.
Wow.
Edith Head was next door to that. Behind the Jurassic Cafe is where Alfred Hitchcock's office was for decades. And behind that, you had Cary Grant across the street from Alfred Hitchcock. You had Cary Grant, Doris Day, Tony Curtis, Rock Hudson, all had bungalows that they stayed here for a long time when they were working with us. And Lucille Ball's last show called Here's Lucy filmed at our Soundstages, so that's why her dressing room was here in this area, it was close by. So a lot of history. If you remember shows like Ironside, Columbo, Murder, She Wrote,
Columbo, yeah.
Emergency, all those shows in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, all filmed are in this area and the soundstages that were around here. That soundstage that says Transformers used to be where they did episodes of Ironsides and Columbo back in the old days. Then the tour took it over for special effects. We did a backdraft show there back in the 90s, and then now it's home down Transformers. So what I'm really getting at is that this is Howard Brown for the movie business here on the lot, and most people have no idea.
The dinosaur.
I think she's already thankful there. That's good.
Doc, you got time for a photo with these three gentlemen over here? Big fans.
On my calculations, yes.
All right, let's get a photo with Doc, guys. Let's get a photo. He's got the time. He's got the time. And that's going to do it for today from Universal Studios Hollywood. VIP tour was awesome, went really well. Granted, did not get down to Hill Valley where we wanted to go, but other than that was pretty dang awesome. One of the best VIP tours I think I've ever done. Would have been the icing on the cake to see Hill Valley, but you know what? Not that big of a deal. There'll be another time. It'll happen. It'll happen. Vlog is over.